Welcome to the Faster, Easier, Better show with your hosts LeeSilber and Ellen Goodwin. This podcast is short, fun, and jam-packed with good ideas that you can start using right away. And here's your hosts, Lee and Ellen.
Welcome to the Faster, Easier, Better show. I'm your host, Ellen Goodwin, along with my co-host,
LeeSilber.
LeeSilber has no boundaries.
I just walked over to your side of the studio.
Established that before. So today I want us to talk about, establishing boundaries and artificial deadlines in your day, which sounds kind of randomly weird, but it's super important. Think about if you've ever had a day where you don't have any structure to it. I know that's something we all dream about. It was like, oh yeah, I'm not going to have any appointments. I'm not going to have anything I have to do. And then that day rolls around and you don't get anything done because there's no structure. There's no deadlines you have to hit. There's no appointments you have to go to. It's all your own time. And we as humans are not very good at structuring our own time.
That day sounds lovely.
Doesn't
and I
it?
think you need those days
I'm
every
not
once in a
arguing
while
you don't.
to, especially someone who has two kids, and I wake up in the morning and I know I've got somewhere I've got to be. Some kids got to be schlepped from here to there, and even if you have nothing else going on, the knowing that that's there somehow kind of it bums you out, harshes your mellow, dude. And so I like those non-structured days. But during those days, you're right. I get nothing of importance done.
Right, because you know,
which is the goal.
Well, yes, but it's you've got this day where like, you know what, I can do that at 1:00, and then 1:00 comes and you're like, I can do it at 2, and you don't have that structure. Whereas like if I knew, okay, 1:00 I have to be at this meeting, whether it's in person or a video one. I've got a block of time. I've got a certain amount of time. I have to get things done before something else happens. And yeah, you get those days where there's nothing there and boom, away they go. When I was a graphic designer, you know this.
Yeah.
You've got mini deadlines all day. Not necessarily have to finish a project, but you have to advance it. And you've got these mini deadlines, and you've got appointments, and you've got structure. And those days when I had a lot of things like that, I rocked it. And days when I had nothing, oh my gosh, I could have 2 things to get done, and neither one of them would happen until like the end of the day because, boom.
Well, a deadline is really a way of prioritizing. When you have several things and one of them has a more pressing deadline, and hopefully it's the important thing. It's not, things that sometimes are important. This is the important, urgent.
Right.
Don't always have deadlines. So you've got to create those false deadlines, or they just kind of go out there. When you say to someone, you know what, just fix my fence whenever. Whenever is like somewhere way off.
Whenever.
I've got company coming over, and I would like to or need to have it fixed by the end of the week. That puts your project higher on the priority list, gives them, the parameters to know, okay, so I need to buy the lumber, I need to do, and
right.
get a crew, whatever it needs to happen. And with most projects, if you're a left-brainer, you'll have the deadline and it will make you do little things at a time. Like you said, little small mini deadlines. If you're a right-brainer, you'll have the deadline. It'll make you think about it and kind of get your mind right and then work on it all at the end. Both ways work, meaning doing a little bit at a time.
Sure.
So that at the very end, you just have to, cross your I's and dot your T's versus one big rush all at once where you're in it, you're immersed in it, right?
Yeah.
So depends on what the project is. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but those last minute, 5-hour energy-induced work sessions, I don't know how long you can keep that up.
No.
As you get older, but each way, as long as you meet the deadline. But without the deadline, both people, left and right brainers, it would just drift away.
It just drifts away. I mean, it's the difference between a river and a swamp. A river's got really well-defined edges, and a swamp, it just and that's what happens when you don't have structure. You don't have those mini deadlines. So what can you do if you have one of those days where there's nothing, there's no structure?
You're looking at me. I can think of 1,000 things, but you mean productive-wise.
Productive to add some structure so
Right.
you actually get some things done. So, one of mine is call up a friend and go, hey, set up a lunch date, set up a coffee date, because now your day has some structure. You've got the before time and the after time. And so, you have to get so much done before, you get in the car and drive to go have lunch. You can tell that person, hey, I'm going to see you at lunch and I need to have these 3 things done. Please ask me if I did that. So you can have that person not only give you a time frame, as you're structuring your day, they'll hold some a little accountability.
They should hold your food if you don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah, you don't.
No
you don't
food
get your,
for you.
No food. You didn't get your stuff done.
Yeah, I'm a believer that without a deadline, nothing really gets done.
Yeah.
It's just human nature. And I mean, these days, we always say that these days, but with as many distractions, as many things that are, vying for your attention, a deadline just brings it all in and focuses you in on a target versus you diffusing all your energy in a number of different ways. So, I mean, if people aren't giving you deadlines, it's just one of those, you've got to create your own and you got to stand by them. And so whether it's the carrot or the stick, like you said, I mean, if I don't do it, I don't get to eat. Or more or less, a reward if I do what I'm supposed to do. And the deadlines aren't just for the big thing, as you said. That is good, I guess. That's important. But setting a deadline to start, a deadline to be halfway there, and a deadline to finish. That's
right.
Probably the least amount of deadlines you need.
Exactly.
If not more.
Exactly. So you just need to find a way, create a little structure in your day when you've got those days that have no structure, so you can get at least something done. I'm not saying you're getting 8 hours of work done, but you're still going to advance the ball a little ways.
Now, to take this one step further, a deadline only works when you're aware of it. So putting it up where you can see it, leaving projects out where they're right there. You walk by and you remember, oh, this has got to be done. Even putting a tent on top of a pile of things that says due by and everything underneath is somehow, some way of reminding yourself of that deadline. If it's just one of those floating around, I think I got to get this done at some point this month, but having a hard deadline that you're aware of, constantly aware of, even though that's not relaxing, it is going to get you to do more in less time because you want to meet that deadline. And then the carrot is, the reward. The stick, there's got to be some repercussions of not getting it done, or else I don't care. You can't make me. You can't make me. So sort of a kind of a punishment of some sort.
Punishment, yes.
And you could do it to yourself. I could do a whole...
We can do a whole episode. Wow.
How to punish yourself for not meeting a deadline.
All right. So when you've got those days with no boundaries, no deadlines, no structure, you can find ways to add a little structure so you get some things done. Thanks for being with us. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Faster, Easier, Better Show.